Alright everyone, welcome to this roguelike mode playthrough. So we're gonna start here with Captain Jack. He's just welcoming us. He's like, Ari matey, pick up that bucket so you can sweep the deck. He's asking, okay, where are we going? To the unknown ocean. And what to get the hidden treasure. And he's telling us if someone dies, he will not revive, and he's asking, what, you want me to fight as well? The captain never goes out to fight. Captain Kirk did. You stupid pussy. Cat. Okay, so here we have the starter Pokemon that we get to choose. As you can see, I have a choice between Leon, Arian Rod, and Lamford. I was having a bit of a hard time deciding here, but I didn't really like Leon's starting skill here. 1000 Hooves is such a long cooldown skill. Arian Rod has Armor Pierce, which is okay. And in retrospect, I probably should have picked Arian Rod. But I picked Lamford here because I felt that his talent would actually be very useful. You'll see later on why that actually doesn't really matter that much. So I'm actually going to speed up the gameplay here for large sections of these videos because I feel like you probably aren't that interested in watching me play at normal speed. And if you're the type of person that's sped up YouTube videos anyway, you know, you can actually. So now you can watch them at 4 times speed while my commentary is only at 2 times speeds because commentary at 4 times speed is going to be unintelligible. So you can see right here that right at the beginning that the starter levels are actually really low. So it's just completely a face roll. I got some currency right off the bat, and I also got a weapon that I can't use because Lamford is a infantry. Blah blah blah. Okay, now you can get a new hero, is what he's telling us. So let's go and get our first new hero. So as you can see, I can pick whatever soldiers I want for Lamford. I of course went with Steel Wings. They're probably the best general purpose use for Lamford. Yeah, arguably Griffins are better in some specific cases. Alright, victory. More currency. Alright, so these first character that you can pick up, as you can tell, is a tank of some kind. So I have a choice between Betty, Vargas, and Freya here. I considered Vargas for a while. I kind of had a brain fart here because I figured, oh, you know, only Freya can guard magic, but then I realized, like, anybody can guard magic in this mode, as long as you get the skill later on. All 3 of them cannot guard magic at this point. They all come with a physical only guard, which kind of sucks that this was the choice of tanks that I got, but whatever. I picked Freya because I felt like Freya has the nicest balance between defense and magic defense, and that's something I kind of want. I didn't really want. In retrospect, I probably should have picked Vargas because Vargas has a built-in revive, and that's always nice to have. Betty might actually be okay for this mode because as we know, we can equip any skill we want. But one thing I don't like about Betty is that she's always infantry class. She doesn't have an alternate choice there. Vargas, at least, Vargas is a lance tank, of course, and Freya, of course, can be both lance and holy. So I'm just checking out the buttons here. As you can see, like there is an extra button on the title at the front page of this mode where you can go into the heroes, which is kind of redundant with going inside and then going into the hero page, but whatever. So here I'm just taking a look at the rewards. You can see that there is skin vouchers. That's an Angelica machine. So those Angelica machines are going to come soon-ish to global. Those things allow you to get very long deployments for your expeditions. Let's see here. Okay, the crystal box, which awakening crystals, Aniki boxes, very valuable as always. A Sar helm. That's the enhancement stones or mastery stones, but that is the new kind of mastery stone where it adds 1 or 2 points on top of a stat you already rolled for, so you can cap a stat that's near capping. So this stage is going to give me a random skill of some kind. Alright, Langrisser rolling forward with the chivalry. As you can see, the beginning stages of this mode are very much, you know, it's pretty much impossible to lose. Unless you just run around for 15 turns and don't care. Okay, so Power Stab, Riposte, and Smash. Power Stab might have been kind of nice on Freya, I suppose, but I decided to go with Smash here. Because, I mean, Riposte might be kind of interesting on certain characters, but I didn't feel like that's what I was going for. And I feel like assassination skills are actually not that great in PvE content. So here, the mode is actually going to just asking me to go into the menu and showing me how to learn new skills. One thing I like about this mode is that they kept the explanations to a pretty minimum amount. I mean, they just show this info pick where it just says, okay, this is how you learn skills, this is how you equip them. You can learn up to 6 skills. Yeah, this mode has a surprising lack of over explanation. It just sort of toss you in and like, okay, here's your character, here's your skills, here you go. It just has a couple very simple explanation panels. I actually decided here not to learn any new skills yet. I did learn this later, but skills, once you give a character a skill, it's used up and you cannot replace it, or you cannot transfer it to someone else. So yeah, these early stages are really, there's really nothing to say. You just hit stuff until it dies, so it's not that interesting right now. So here I finally get a weapon I can actually use. The Scarlet Reaper, I mean, obviously I can't really use that. So I went with the Sealed Guardian, which is a very reliable weapon. So here's the first boss fight of the mode. So as you saw, most stages in this mode involve just fighting mooks of some kind, and then the boss fights will involve fighting hero units, and there will also be like special boss fights later on. So here, Altamira was unable to guard against Freya because Freya is doing magic damage. So here we got our first star upgrade item. These come pretty rarely. Also we get an item, which in this case is an accessory. I go with the Judge Talisman. The other two I don't think would be particularly useful for me at this point. So this is just explaining that if you press the plus sign, you can get a star. You can star up your characters, and you can also star sync characters by pressing the green button in the corner. So I decided to upgrade Langrisser. As I said, I believe his aura will be very useful, and it ends up being pretty useful, but there's a reason why I didn't really need to do that, and you'll see later on why. So still, these enemies are quite low level, so there's really nothing to worry about. So we get our second character, which appears to be a choice of healer, but for some reason Akaya is there. So I don't know if that's forced to be a healer or if they just threw in Akaya into the pool for no reason. But obviously here I take Liana. Almeida might have been nice. The random debuffs from Almeida can actually be quite nice. And since you know, characters don't have skill advantage over each other in this game, or in this mode, you don't really need to be like, oh, you know, I should take Liana because she has Act Again, because, well, she doesn't. She came with Prayer. But I took Liana anyway because I feel like her passive cleanse is just way too good. Like, it's just... Mook Slaying. So this is the first ability I can get, which are a bunch of passive skills you can equip onto characters. So this one right here says Lancer, Infantry, and Cavalry critical damage increased by 20%. This one says Mage, Holy, and Demon magic defense increased by 15%. And this one just says defense or magic defense plus 10% on any hero. I will say that in retrospect, all three of these skills end up being not that useful by the end. But I picked magic defense here because I figured it was a generic choice that would be nice on any character. So at this point you will see that I actually do not equip the ability immediately because I did not realize at this point that you can actually just take abilities off characters and then throw them onto other people as much as you want. So at this point I didn't equip anything. I'm not learning anything, I'm not equipping anything because I figure, I want to save it for later when the stages actually get harder and I want to decide how to build my characters to face those challenges. I switched Freya back to Lancer here just so she can equip the axe. And I figure I really don't need her as a Valkyrie until I get a magic guard of some kind or I have more equipment for Valkyrie than I do for Lancer. So here I'm going to change Lyanna's troops to Wizard for really just so that she can contribute doing a little bit of damage. I mean, it really doesn't matter because these enemies are such pushovers right now. Alright, I think you might be getting tired of the chipmunk voices at this point, so why don't we switch it up for something else? Okay, so I get a choice between Mass Heal, Dispel, and Heal. I figure the basic heal is probably still the best thing to get. I mean, the basic heal is probably best for the style of play that I was planning on doing, which is just a pretty standard tank and spank sort of team. So Astaroth, Red Moon, Gate of Truth. For me, it's no question. It's Red Moon. I mean, I don't like the other two weapons that much. Astaroth is really only good for Lana, and even then, I don't think it's actually that great. So this is the first store that you run into in the game. As you can see, you use the shells that you earn by beating the stages to buy extra equipment, extra skills, or whatever. So this one says Hero Critical Hit Rate, Hero Defense plus %. That skill over there is Redemption and Blood Dance, obviously. That's also Olivier's AoE skill. And you have an Azure Legend over there. So I take the defense up because I want to make Freya more tanky. That's one of Freya's problems, is that she's actually not that tanky without her fixed damages. And I also take Redemption because I feel like that is actually going to be pretty useful. So here we go to the second boss fight of the mode. Still nothing to really be concerned about because the enemies are just too underleveled to pose any sort of threat. This is one of the complaints I have about this mode, is that the easy part of this mode probably goes on for way longer than it should. I mean, to some extent I understand, because you sort of need to have these easy stages at the beginning in order for you to get resources, but I feel like this could have been remedied by having possibly by having like starter abilities that you can choose, but maybe it's better to, but it might be better this way so that people can acclimate to the mode. Ram does, just being annoying. Okay, so Sea of Miracles, Dark Scythe, and Calamity. For me, it was really no question. I was going to take Sea of Miracles. Sea of Miracles is just a really nice support spell, and being able to put it on a healer is just really OP. So I get my fourth character here. I have a choice between Rachel, Shelfanail, and Deedlit. In retrospect, I might have taken Shelfanail, because Shelfanail is actually, now that I think about it, like Shelfanail can actually be really, really overpowered in this mode. I take Rachel because that's just what I'm comfortable with. I use Rachel normally, so I guess I'm just used to. I was just used to playing with Rachel, and Rachel's nice as always. She's an off healer that also attacks. So here you can see the first branching path in this mode. Basically what it is that you get to choose what kind of upgrades you want at any given moment. So these enemies with Ram are pretty annoying at this point because there's really no way I can avoid getting my guard disabled. Obviously it's not a problem at the moment, but it's really a problem I need to think about solving at some point. So abilities, hero critical hit rates, intelligence on mages or clerics or holy plus 15%, hero attack plus 10%. So here I take the intelligence. I feel like it's pretty obvious that I can just equip it on Rachel. And this is the point where I realized that you can just take abilities on and off people, so I just started equipping everything. So I didn't mention this earlier, but there was actually a in-universe explanation as to why you can't get Tiaras, Listel, or Matthew in this mode. The Captain Jack said that Tiaras can't come because she can't swim, Listel can't come because she's too bloody and she'll attract sharks and stuff, and then he says Matthew can't come because if something happened to him that would be bad. But I'm kind of like, okay, sure, he's the main character and all that, but why is Almeida coming? Because Almeida's like the goddess. I think if something happened to her, that would also be really bad. Alright, you have the spear from Mystery Knight, you have Fireball, and you have Ren's line AoE. So Spear might have been kind of nice to have, but I figured I'd just take a more reliable single target attack than Fireball. So as you can see here, I learned my first skill, and when you learn a skill, it is on a character, you can't move it anywhere. So you have to distribute your skills wisely in this mode, definitely. More passives. Health. This one's Lancer, Infantry, Intelligence. This one's just Magic Defense. So I take HP. I mean, Infantry Intelligence obviously is going to help me unless I pick D-Lit way back. So this is the first upgrade station in the mode. But first I'm going to equip some stuff. As you can, right there you can see like something happened. Basically what happened is that my tablet disconnected from the server and I had to try a really long time to reconnect. You're going to see weird edits like that throughout. It's, you know, I can't really do anything about it. The tablet I use to play on the Chinese server is not that great and it disconnects a lot. I just have a very unstable connection to the Chinese server. So and in addition, the recording software I was using has a limit on how long I can record things. Okay, so this is the first upgrade station. As you can see, you can upgrade the abilities. This one says you can upgrade abilities up to level 2. And I have 6 charges on this station to upgrade whatever I want. The final one says you can upgrade the skill cost total on a character. You can see it goes up to 9, so by the end of the mode you can actually have 3 cost skills on one character if you really want to. I actually don't think that's that useful because usually like there's a lot of 2 cost and 1 cost skills that are worth running. And that right there is what was me trying to exit. So basically once you enter you cannot exit. If you exit this thing goes away, so you have to spend all your points when you're in here. So I'm just taking a look around. I start upgrading these passives. It seems like the best long-term investment at this point, just to have extra stats. Because I might get better. Okay, so the equipment only goes up to level 30 on this station, so certain items that I got that dropped at level 30 I can't upgrade. So here I have 1 more point left over, so I decide to actually... So I actually spent it on Freya to get an extra cost on her. Because I figured at some point maybe I would get a 3 cost guard for her, but this... in retrospect I probably shouldn't have done that. Because as you'll see from how I build my Freya layer, I really don't need the extra cost on her. Anyway, let's go into this boss fight. I take out Ren first here because Ren is just so annoying. I mean, I shouldn't be in any sort of danger here anyway, but as you can see, it's still pretty easy because the levels on these enemies are so low. Another star up item. So here is the first time I see that you can actually get entire talents as abilities in this mode. So this is why I said that in retrospect I might have not chosen Lanford at the start, because here I actually have a choice of the Lanford talent. Obviously, like in a randomized dungeon, like you can't expect to get exactly what you want, so this is just a retrospect thing. I probably would have picked Lanford anyway, just because, you know, there's no guarantee that you'll get that Lanford talent. Here we have Altina's talent, which I think is a absolutely terrible talent. So here, really the only choice for me is Alta Miller's talent, which is a decent talent. I mean, it's just, it stacks physical it attacks physical damage reduction and attack increase, which is always nice. So here I upgrade Langford up to 6 stars. Getting a 5th character here. So the Apex maps are actually included in the randomly generated maps for this mode, which is fine, I suppose. So as you can see, these enemies right now are still level 46. They stand no chance against me, so right now it's just kind of a boring face roll on these enemies. Okay, so there I disconnected again, so I had to restart. Alright, so Brenda, D-Heart, and Hiei. Hiei comes with his transform skill, which is nice, but I don't think the Yu Hakusho characters are particularly good for PvE content, so I skipped on Hiei here. I picked Brenda. I think D-Heart is also not that great anymore. Brenda is a much better character at this point. So these enemies are still sub level 50, so yeah, they can't do anything to me. So again, another disconnect there. Yeah, the disconnects really kind of ruined the experience for me. But okay, so right here I have Crystal Assault, which is from one of Helena's skills. That spear, I believe, is one of Arian Rod's AoEs, and you also have Flash, which is a very simple 1 CD attack skill. Obviously, I go with Flash here. Low CD attack skills are just much better in PvE, in my opinion. Nibble Charge from Ares, 1,000 Arrows, and Dragon Breath. As you can see, I'm going more for a single target team here, so I go with Nibble Charge. So here I have a choice between equipment and abilities. I decided to go for the equipment stage. Holy Grail, Gift of Eternal Life, and Bathory is Seductress. So I take the Gift of Eternal Life here because I feel like it's really the only good choice here. The other two items, in my opinion, are just not that good. So under store, this one is AoE plus 1, AoE rate spam plus 1. Okay, defense plus 20%. Damage plus 30% if you are attacking an enemy with above 60% life. And a Star Earring. So I take the Meteor ability, and I take the Star Earring. The other ones I feel like are not that important at this point, and I feel like maybe it's better if I save currency for later stores. So this ability, as I said, is the Meteor ability. That's why it says when enemy is above certain HP %, they will take more damage. I give it to Brenda. Brenda is just like, so Brenda is stacking a lot of damage right now. So this is actually, you're gonna see, like, this is the first map I'm actually going to lose at, because I make a really dumb mistake. So this Ren right here is just so annoying. She manages to silence 2 people, including my healer, which is just the worst. You know, it's a silence plus a heal block on Lanford. As you can see, like, even though my character is a level 70, the lack of equipment really makes him a lot weaker. As you can see, and you can see right there, yeah, you know, Ren is able to nearly one-shot Brenda. It's just, it's the lack of equipment on how weak your characters are really. I use Chivalry here, which is useless because he has heal block, which is just awful. And another heal block over there on Rachel, of course. Alright, so let's have a do-over where I don't play like an idiot, so let's just go in. So it's at this point where I realized that you are actually, so I was checking here I was checking like my revive amounts, and it still says 3 even though it starts at 3. So what I realized at this point is that if you escape a map or you wipe on a map, you just it just treats it as if you never went into that map in the first place. So you can actually kind of cheese this mode by doing this. Like if you lose a character, you can just quit the map and then go back in. That's what I realized. That's like, so that actually removes a ton of difficulty from this mode if you are willing to cheese it. I think that's a very, very odd oversight. I don't know if it's even an oversight. I almost feel like they put that in so that people don't get too intimidated by this mode, but it's just a very odd thing to have there. So here I want to kill Ren because Ren is just the worst thing in the universe. Annoyingly, Elwyn has Sword Soul, so that is... So Lanford's pretty much boned there. Frontal assault on Lanford. Lanford gets super killed. Virash is really annoying here because he is like a 6-star Virash and he has 10 million revives. So the only real choice here is to just sort of ignore him. Somehow he is able to kill Ren on the counter. So thankfully Freya's barbs lets me take off more lives at once. Although, like, even if I didn't have those barbs, I probably would have killed them over multiple turns. Again, I disconnect here. Very annoying. So, okay, so we have a Lord's Helm, Mirror Armor, and Death's Robe. I picked the Lord's Helm. I feel like at this point, having a defense buff, even if it's not that reliable, is kind of nice to have. So both of these paths went to an equipment stage, so there's really not much to say. Even though I lost at that boss fight, it's really not an indicator of anything yet because the normal enemies are still as weak as ever. Ragnarok, Carbon Fiber Helm. Obviously, I feel like Ragnarok is the best choice here. So, equipment stage and ability stage. I go to the equipment stage. I still am missing a lot of equipment slots, so it makes sense to me to get whatever equipment I can at this point. Fury of Tyr versus those other two items, I think is pretty obvious which one I'm going to take here. So I'm just checking out Brenda's soldier choices here. Summon Spider Demon, summon summon Firebrand Archer, and the Forest Aura. I think summons in general are garbage, especially for PvE. Obviously the exception is something like Sky Archer. So I take the Forest Aura, and I realize at this point the Forest Aura can actually be used in a very interesting way. I decided to stick as you'll see, I am going to stick the Forest Aura onto Freya. So what this lets me do is that I have a tank that's always sitting in a forest, which I thought was just a really, really neat gimmick I could go with. I mean, imagine giving that aura to Landius as well. Like Landius could be on his cavalry class, and he could just ignore terrain. Alright, so Twilight Armor, Munition Guards, and Loki's Mask. I was kind of stuck between the Twilight Armor and the Munition Guards. They are both pretty good. The Loki's Mask, however, I was not interested in. I don't think that's a very good piece of equipment. The Twilight Armor looked good, though, because I figured I would equip it on a Valkyrie Freya and give her a nice balance between defense and magic defense. So the thing about Valkyrie Freya here is that because you need to remember that because you won't get Iron Rose, at least as far as I know, I didn't even see it in the pool at any point. So if you use someone like Valkyrie Freya, you do need to build her for both defense and magic defense. You can't just stack onto one defense stat. With someone like Vargas, it's easier because he comes with Unbreakable Guardian, or someone like Emilia, who I believe does come with her Holy Guard skill. But Freya, however, comes with Lance Phalanx, so there's no guarantee you'll get Iron Rose. So you can see right here, Freya is actually really tanky right now thanks to all the passives I gave her. Obviously the enemies are still quite low level, but when you compare the amount of damage Freya takes to the amount of damage my other characters might take, it is very clear that Freya is quite tanky at this point. Okay, so that's the fixed damage minus heavy armor. That is the ribbon and a Baldur's White Robe. And I go with the Baldur's White Robe. I think all three choices were kind of bad there, but I went with Baldur's because I just need to put something on my mage. So here we have the level 5, the Voyage 5 boss, which is the first, I think, real boss encounter in this mode. It feels like every 5 voyages they have one really serious boss. So this boss has a bunch of mechanics. Yeah, this boss has a number of annoying mechanics, so I feel like I need to back off a little bit. So basically the way this fight works is that the boss and the minions will all create a stacking debuff that causes you to take more damage. Mostly on whoever they hit, so if you bring a tank, they're just going to take more and more damage if the fight drags on. The boss also pushes you around with an AoE. And the boss can also do like this weird Betty style talent where if you attack something, it'll do damage to you. So I kind of prioritize killing the boss first here. And after the boss is dead, the minions aren't that big of a threat, I think. But you'll see that because of the stacking damage debuff, despite the level difference, Freya actually almost dies at one point. So it's actually not... This is the first fight I would say is actually challenging. Alright, so there you go. That is the first. That is what I believe is the first real boss encounter of this mode. So I get a star upgrade. I also get a choice of level 50 accessories, and of course I choose the Swordsmith medal. I feel like that's just too overpowered to pass up. So here I am going to just do a little bit of house cleaning with the stuff I just got. So at this point, I feel like it's necessary for me to start actually learning skills because the encounters are actually starting to get kind of hard. So I feel like I give redemption to Rachel so that she gets better at healing. I give the flash skill to Lanford, who is more of a support character at this point, but give him one attack skill to allow him to contribute a little bit. So because Lanford is already maxed out in stars, I feel like it's important to start up someone else at this point, and I feel like Liana is the obvious choice. Liana's talent becomes very, very powerful at 6 stars. Alright, so that's the first 5 voyages of this mode. I think we'll just take a break there, and we'll continue in the next video.